Once upon a time in a small town, there was an urban legend about the ghost of an old teacher haunting the courtyard of an elementary school. This story tells the tale of Emma, a young teacher, and the mysterious events that unfolded around her. Emma, a newly appointed teacher, brought fresh energy to the small school in the town. However, strange things began to happen from her very first day. Students in her class would sometimes hear strange sounds on the walls, but no one could locate the source. One day, while one of the students was in the restroom, they heard something. Upon opening the door, they found themselves inside an empty classroom. Yet the eerie sounds persisted that day. The bizarre incidents escalated further. Notes appeared written on the board, and students' desks seemed to their own. Determined to unravel the mystery, Emma decided to investigate. Late at night, she delved into the school's history and discovered that an old teacher had disappeared years ago. This teacher had formed emotional bonds with the students and loved them dearly. One day, one of the students went missing, and the police suspected the teacher. However, the teacher was never found. Emma sensed that the spirit of this teacher had not left the school, still loving the students and continuing the search for the missing child. Since that day, the strange occurrences in Emma's classroom were heard by students and other teachers alike. Some believe that the ghost of the old teacher still roamed the school. The ghost, unheard but felt by everyone, seemed to be trying to help the students. Amidst the fearful glances from others, Emma decided to understand the true purpose of the ghostly teacher and offer assistance. In a small-town elementary school, there was a mysterious teacher named Mrs. Blackwell. This teacher, known for her interesting and entertaining lessons, suddenly disappeared one day without a trace. Students and other teachers struggled to understand where Mrs. Blackwell had gone and why she vanished without leaving any clues behind. However, nobody could uncover the truth. One day, Tim, the most curious student in the school, decided to unravel the mystery behind Mrs. Blackwell's disappearance. Tim began to explore the school's secret passages and forgotten rooms. Suddenly, mysterious events started to unfold. At night, strange sounds echoed through the corridors. Classroom doors were opening and closing on their own. As Tim roamed the dark and silent hallways of the school, he began to believe he saw the ghost of Mrs. Blackwell. One night, Tim descended into the basement of the school. There, he found an old student ledger, and as he flipped through the pages, he discovered the peculiar events that had occurred in the past. It turned out that Mrs. Blackwell had disappeared in an accident years ago, and her ghost still haunted the school. After learning this truth, Tim decided to speak with the ghost of Mrs. Blackwell. The ghost expressed a desire to help the students and find peace. Tim, along with the ghost of Mrs. Blackwell, embarked on an adventure to uncover the deep secrets of the town. However, discovering the truth forced Tim to confront dark forces. In the depths of the school, he faced an ancient curse, yet, with courage, he battled against the town's dark history and brought eternal peace to Mrs. Blackwell's ghost. After these events, Tim had brought peace to the town. However, the school continued to be remembered as a mysterious and forgotten tale, and since that day, a rumor circulated among students If you listen carefully, you can still hear the ghost of Mrs. Blackwell wandering through the corridors. In the heart of the magical town of Blackwood, there lies a school exclusive to certain students. This school is known as Blackwood Academy. When students are invited to the school, they believe they are about to receive the most crucial lesson of their lives. However, the end of this lesson is unpredictable by anyone. One day, Emma, a young and curious student, received an invitation to Blackwood Academy. The walls of the academy were covered in enchantment, and there was a mysterious atmosphere in the corridors. As Emma settled into her assigned room in the student dormitory, she felt the eyes of the teachers in the old paintings on the walls watching her. One night, Emma overheard a rumor circulating among the students. A teacher known as the Vanishing teacher had mysteriously disappeared, and urban legends about this teacher were spreading. Some students claim that this teacher had given them an ancient lesson about death, driven by curiosity. Emma began to sneak around the student dormitory as she wandered through the corridors at night. She suddenly encountered a black door. The door was adorned with magical symbols and beckoned her enticingly. Upon opening the door, Emma found herself in an old classroom. On the board, there was a list of students' names and an old teacher standing in front of them. The teacher's expression was emotionless, and he uttered only one word: death. Suddenly, the walls of the classroom began to tremble, and the door locked, trapping Emma inside. She shivered as she heard voices emanating from the walls. The names on the student list were being erased one by one, and the number of students in the room dwindled. Emma realized that this lesson was about death, and the students were undergoing a real test under the control of this mysterious teacher. At Blackwood Academy, with tearful eyes, Emma struggled to survive while attempting to unravel the secrets of the vanished teacher. In the end, Emma became the last student standing in the middle of the classroom. The door opened, and the teacher said, "You have successfully completed the lesson of death, Emma." Then, the teacher transformed into a shadow and disappeared. When Emma left Blackwood Academy, she kept what she saw to herself. However, something had returned with her: the weight of death and mysteries. Once upon a time at Greenwood Elementary School, there was a teacher beloved by both students and colleagues, Mrs. Anderson. However, one day, she vanished in a way that left everyone bewildered. Mrs. Anderson was always kind and affectionate towards her students, yet on that fateful day, while teaching her class, she disappeared abruptly. Students, teachers, and school staff immediately sprang into action, but no one could find Mrs. Anderson. Initially, everyone thought she might have simply gone to the restroom. However, as hours passed, the concern escalated. The school administration contacted the police, and search efforts commenced. Unfortunately, Mrs. Anderson seemed to have vanished without a trace. Students began to hear strange noises at night in their beds. They claimed to see a shadow wandering outside the classroom window. Some even felt like they were being followed by the ghost of Mrs. Anderson. However, adults dismissed these claims as mere products of children's imagination. A few days later, a night custodian noticed something amiss in Mrs. Anderson's classroom. When he opened the door, he, too, vanished instantly. The custodian was never found again. Following these incidents, The school was abandoned and officially closed by authorities. The hallways of Greenwood Elementary School became legendary among those who believed in the ghost of the missing teacher. Now, this story circulates online, and some people believe that the ghost of the vanished teacher still roams the school. Some speculate that a dark force was behind Mrs. Anderson's mysterious disappearance.